This video is brought to you by Pandawill.com. Pandawill sells thousands of electronics directly from China, including the Ulefone Be One. Please be sure to check them out using the links in the video description. Although you may not have heard of Ulefone before, they've been producing smartphones for quite some time now. It wasn't until recently, however, that they captured the attention of many Chinese smartphone buyers with their budget-conscious Ulefone B lineup. This is my full review of the $130 Ulefone Be One. We'll start off with the design, that is, where the Be One shines. It's available in black or white, each having an easy-to-remove rear cover. The plastic used for the rear cover and subtle curve combine to make the phone feel very nice in the hand. The back resists fingerprints well, and I didn't manage to scratch it at all during the 2-week review period. You'd think that this material would make the phone slippery, but that's just not the case. Despite its larger size, the Be One is reasonably easy to handle with a single hand for someone with average to larger size hands. My only real complaint is that the corners of the phone are fairly sharp, which cause the phone to dig into my hand. You can always readjust how you hold the phone, and you'll probably have to do that anyways because of the phone's size, but I just thought I'd bring that up. The Be One does weigh in at 170 grams, but is 8.3 millimeters thick. On the back, we'll find a 13 megapixel Sony sensor accompanied by a flash. The Ulefone logo is on the top center, and the speaker grill is on the bottom. Unfortunately, the speaker itself is only about a quarter of the size of the grill. I'll talk about audio quality in a minute. The labeled power button is on the right side of the phone, and the volume rocker is on the left side. The micro USB port is on the bottom of the device, next to the device's only microphone. Finally, the headphone jack is on the top left of the device. The top and bottom side material reminds me a lot of what was implemented on the HTC One M8 for an IR blaster, sort of like a glossy plastic. Maybe I would like this if I had the black model, but it sort of looks mismatched and just plain out weird on the white model, but to each his own. Speaking of different design elements, Ulefone has designed the Be One to have drilled holes on the front top and bottom chin. They aren't used for front-facing audio or the earpiece, so I'm questioning why they're even there. The 3 capacitive buttons are illuminated and share the same design language as the drilled holes on the top and bottom. So yeah, they look different from what we're used to. I personally like to see different, but whether you like them is your decision, not mine. There is an 8 megapixel front-facing camera on the top right and a multicolor notification LED on the top left. That's something that we usually don't see on budget devices. Regardless, you can use an app like LightFlow to customize the color based on what type of notification you receive, or you can also just use the built-in presets in the settings menu. Ulefone claims that the 5.5-inch 720p IPS display is actually manufactured by LG, and the quality reflects that. Full brightness is almost blinding indoors, but great for sunlight readability. The viewing angles are incredible, and the display just looks great overall. The glass covering the display is actually curved and tapers off at the edges. This is similar to what Nokia does with their higher-end Lumia smartphones. I never expected to see this on a smartphone that cost $130, but I'm so glad that Ulefone did include it. Seriously, the curved glass makes swiping so much more natural and gives the phone a very premium look. Call quality was about average when using AT&T's network in the United States. AT&T users can expect HSPA Plus speeds, while T-Mobile customers can expect 2G or Edge speeds. I'll leave the frequency list below and also a list of 3G networks by country in the description so you can confirm compatibility. The earpiece is a bit quiet compared to other smartphones, but that shouldn't be an issue for most people. The proximity sensor doesn't seem to have been calibrated correctly, as I experienced issues where the display would light up when I had the phone held up to my face. This does happen every once in a while with even high-end smartphones, but it's something that I noticed and did require me to lock the display whenever I placed or received a phone call.
Welcome to Red Pocket Mobile. Please listen carefully, as our menu options have recently changed. For activation, refill, account status, and many other account functions.
Audio output through the rear speaker on the Be One sounded okay, but noticeably distorted. If you take off the back cover, you can see that the speaker itself only outputs through a very small portion of the speaker grill. This is becoming more and more popular among the Chinese smartphones, yet does nothing for audio quality. Unfortunately, there isn't really much of a curve to keep the distortion level down while setting the phone on a flat surface. As mentioned earlier, we have a 13 megapixel Sony rear camera with an f2.2 aperture. For this price, you shouldn't really expect that good of a camera, but the Ulefone Be One is an exception. The images it took were very good, whether I took them inside or outside. The autofocus is a tad slow compared to other smartphones, but the Be One was quick to actually take the image. I did record a 1080p video sample clip. Ulefone has shipped the Be One with a mostly stock Android 4.4.2 KitKat ROM. Some of the status icons at the top, like the battery icon, have been switched from white to a light blue color. The phone also has a different sound profile than stock Android, similar to Samsung's Water sounds. The launcher is very similar to the Google Now launcher, it just lacks Google Now. All of the icons are unchanged, and the few apps that are bundled with the phone are actually helpful, like the File Manager and Flashlight app. Ulefone has also added gestures and notification light settings. You can enable double tap to wake, swipe up to unlock, and other letter gestures for launching specific apps. Overall, I think Ulefone found a nice balance between keeping the stock Android experience and still making a few minor tweaks. There are some rumors going around that the Ulefone Be One will receive an Android 5.0 Lollipop update, but there has not been an official confirmation from Ulefone. They did confirm that an update for the Be Pro would be coming this month, but it's still unclear whether they plan to update the Be One. There is not a wireless update menu in the settings, so even if Ulefone did release an update, you would have to flash it manually. If I had to bet on it, I would say that this phone won't receive the update because of its older processor. The MediaTek MT6592 processor is equipped with 8 Cortex-A7 cores, each clocked at 1.4 GHz. Performance on this device is pretty good for the price. The device scored a 28,000 in Antutu and 367 for single core, 2058 for multi-core in Geekbench. Those scores put the device's performance somewhere between the LG G3 from 2014 and HTC One M7 from 2012. There is only 1GB of RAM, which may be a problem for some people who like to keep more than about 5 apps open at once, but I personally didn't have to adjust my usage. There is a one-touch button for cleaning out the memory, which did come in handy when I wanted to close all of my apps at once. The Mali 450 GPU is fairly powerful, and the phone played graphic-intensive games like Asphalt 8 very well. The Ulefone Be One has 16 GB of onboard storage, which is really good considering the price. If you do want to expand that, there is a microSD card expansion slot that supports up to 32 GB. You can move most apps to the microSD card too, so you should have plenty of space to work with. GPS worked very well on the Be One, with it having a fix within about 5 to 10 seconds. The accuracy is also really good, usually within about 10 feet. I did test navigation with Google Maps on my 12-mile morning commute, and it worked just as expected. The battery also only decreased 5 percentage points, down from 100% to 95%. The battery is only 2,350 milliamps, but it is removable and I found it to last until about 9 p.m. with 3 hours of screen-on time. That's pretty good, especially for a budget device. To be clear, my day starts at about 7 a.m. and ends anywhere from 1 to 2 a.m. the next morning. What really impressed me though was the standby time. Even on a cellular connection, I would find the battery to only drop a few percentage points every hour when the device was locked. When I checked my Moto X 2014 edition at 2 p.m. that I unplugged at the same time as the Ulefone Be One, the battery was at 50%, despite me not having touched it all day. The Be One was still at 55%, and that's after using GPS navigation, doing some web browsing, and watching a few YouTube videos. If you do purchase the Ulefone Be One from Panduil, you will receive Ulefone documentation, a Panduil Quick Start Guide, a micro USB cable, and a European AC adapter. The Ulefone Be One is a great option for $130. Although it may not offer the most premium specifications, it gets the experience right. It has an impressive display, a really great camera, and good gaming performance. On the downside, the rear speaker doesn't really sound that good, and we're still not sure whether the phone will receive an Android 5.0 Lollipop update. It's still an incredible value though, and a great choice for under $150. If you do want to check it out, there will be links in the description to view it on Pandawill's website. If you found this review helpful or informative, please make sure to hit that like button, and also leave me a comment below letting me know your thoughts. Would you buy a Ulefone device? That is going to be all for this video. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to subscribe.